There is a simple truth about life. We cannot control what others say or do, but we can always control how we respond. Too often, we react instantly, not with wisdom, but with hurt. And in that moment, we give away our peace. Think about it. If someone throws a burning coal at you, and you catch it in your hands, who gets burned first? It is not the one who threw it, but the one who held on to it. In the same way, when we hold on to hurt, when we react with anger, resentment or pain, we are the first ones to suffer. But if we pause, if we think, if we allow God's wisdom to guide our response, then even the most hurtful situations can transform into opportunities for growth. Today, let us learn how to respond with thought, not with hurt, and protect the priceless treasure of our inner peace. When emotions rise, the natural tendency is to react instantly. If someone says something sharp, if a colleague criticizes you unfairly, if a loved one speaks in a way that feels harsh, the mind immediately jumps to defense. The ego pushes us to snap back, to prove we are not weak, to show that we will not accept disrespect. But in that very instant, the real question arises, what are we protecting? Are we protecting our peace, or are we sacrificing it? In truth, a pause before reacting is not weakness. It is the deepest strength. Think about fire. When someone throws a burning matchstick into a forest of dry leaves, if the leaves catch it instantly, it becomes a wildfire that destroys everything in its path. But if those leaves were wet with water, the fire would go out immediately. That water is the pause. That water is thought. That water is God's presence guiding us. Without that pause, we allow the fire of another's words to consume us. With that pause, we take away its power. A pause may only last a few seconds, but those few seconds can save years of regret. Many people regret the words they spoke in anger, but very few regret the words they held back. Why? Because silence never needs an apology, but harsh words often demand one. A short moment of thought gives us the chance to choose whether we will speak from wisdom or from hurt. When we speak from wisdom, our words heal, they inspire, they strengthen relationships. When we speak from hurt, our words create scars that even years may not heal. That is why the pause is sacred. It is the moment in which we step away from ego and step closer to God. Look at daily life examples. Imagine you are in traffic, someone cuts in front of you aggressively, and your blood boils. In that flash, your hand is ready to honk, your mouth is ready to shout, your thoughts are ready to curse. But what do you gain if you do that? The driver may not even hear you, and if they do, they may shout back, and suddenly your whole day is spoiled by a 2-second incident. But if you pause, breathe, and let it pass, you lose nothing, and you gain everything: peace, calmness, and clarity. The situation does not change, but your response changes, and that is where your real power lies. Or think of a workplace scenario. A colleague blames you for something that was not your fault. Instantly, the ego wants to prove them wrong. The mouth wants to argue. The heart wants to show its hurt. But if you react that very moment, the conversation may turn into a heated exchange, destroying trust and harmony in the team. However, if you pause, you give yourself a chance to collect facts, to understand the bigger picture, and to present your response thoughtfully. Instead of an argument, you create a dialogue. Instead of enemies, you create mutual respect. That pause becomes the bridge between conflict and resolution. Even in relationships with loved ones, the pause is everything. Families often break apart, not because of one big incident, but because of countless small reactions, where anger was allowed to speak louder than love. A partner says something without thinking, a parent makes a comment, a child misbehaves. and instantly we react with frustration. The words slip out before we even realize, and later we wish we could take them back. But the damage has already been done. Yet if, in that very moment, we pause, we remind ourselves, this person loves me. This person is part of my life. Is my anger worth more than our bond? That small pause can transform a fight into understanding and hurt into healing. The pause is not empty, it is filled with wisdom. In that pause, you hear your own heart. In that pause, you hear God's whisper telling you, choose peace. Life's greatest strength is not found in quick reactions, but in thoughtful responses. A lion does not roar at every sound in the jungle, it roars only when necessary. In the same way, we do not need to react to every provocation. Silence does not mean we are weak. It means we are wise enough to save our energy for what truly matters. Let us reflect. How many times have we spoiled our own day by reacting too quickly? And how many times have we been grateful for holding back? If we are honest, we know that the most peaceful moments of our life came not from reacting, but from rising above the impulse to react. That is the true strength of the human spirit, the ability to master our inner storm rather than let the storm master us. So, the next time someone tests your patience, do not think you are powerless. In fact, that is the moment when your greatest power appears. Take a deep breath, pause, and give yourself the gift of thought. That pause is where you meet your higher self. That pause is where you choose God over ego. That pause is where you protect your peace, which is far more valuable than winning an argument or proving a point. Life will continue to bring challenges, and people will continue to test us. We cannot stop the waves, but we can learn to surf. We cannot control what others throw at us, but we can control what we hold on to. And every time we pause before the storm, we rise above hurt and step closer to wisdom. In that pause lies not just peace, but the doorway to a life of strength, clarity, and true inner freedom. No one can force us to feel hurt unless we allow their words or actions to settle within our heart. This is a truth that, when understood deeply, can change the entire way we live. Imagine someone comes to your door with a parcel, but you never open the door and never accept it. Can that parcel become yours? No. In the same way, when someone delivers hurtful words, they can only reach you if you open the door of your mind and allow them to enter. If you refuse to accept them, they remain outside, powerless, unable to disturb your inner peace. Hurt, then, is not something others can give us. It is something we choose to take. And just like any choice, we can choose differently. Every day we are surrounded by people who speak in ways that are not always gentle. A co-worker may dismiss your efforts, a stranger may insult you, a family member may speak without thinking. Instantly, the mind feels wounded. But the wound is not from their words. It is from our decision to absorb those words. It is like walking in a garden where thorns exist. If you step carefully, you enjoy the fragrance of the flowers without being hurt. But if you step carelessly, you bleed. The thorns were always there, but whether you are hurt or not depends on how you choose to walk. In life, negative words and actions will always exist, but whether they hurt us or not depends on how carefully we carry ourselves with awareness. Consider an everyday situation. Suppose you are driving to work and someone shouts at you from the next car. If you choose to take it personally, you spend the rest of your drive angry and maybe even your whole day bitter. But if you remind yourself, that person may be going through something I cannot see. Their anger is not about me. Then their words lose power. You drive peacefully, you arrive with calmness, and your day remains intact. The same event happened, but two different choices created two completely different experiences. This shows us clearly hurt is not destiny, it is a decision. Many people carry old hurts in their hearts like heavy luggage. Someone insulted them years ago, and they still replay those words in their mind as if they were spoken yesterday. What does this achieve? It keeps the wound open, making it bleed again and again. But if you decide to let go, if you decide not to carry the burden, you free yourself. Imagine holding a stone in your hand. If you grip it tightly, your hand aches. The longer you hold it, the more painful it becomes. But if you simply let it fall, instantly the pain is gone. In the same way, hurt only lasts as long as we hold on to it. The moment we let go, we are free. This does not mean we ignore reality or allow injustice. It simply means we do not allow negativity to rule our heart. You can still correct someone calmly. You can still address situations firmly, but without allowing the poison of hurt to infect your soul. It is the difference between drinking poison and handling poison safely. If you drink it, you suffer. If you handle it carefully, it cannot harm you. Similarly, when you face harshness with wisdom, you do not become a victim of it. Think of children as an example. A small child may call you names or say something rude without knowing the meaning. Do you feel hurt? No, you smile because you understand their words carry no real weight. You do not take it personally. Now imagine if we carried this same understanding into our adult interactions. Many people speak out of their own pain, their own frustration, their own ignorance. Their words reveal more about their inner state than about us. Why should we give their pain the power to hurt our heart? When we see from this perspective, we realize we always have a choice to take offense or to rise above it. God has given us this incredible freedom. While we cannot control what others say, we can always control how deeply it enters our soul. This is why spiritual masters teach detachment, not detachment from people, but detachment from the grip of their opinions. Just as a lotus grows in muddy water, yet remains untouched by the mud, we too can live among people's words and actions, yet remain untouched by their negativity. The lotus is not special because there is no mud. It is special because, despite the mud, it stays pure. In the same way, greatness in life is not about living without criticism, but about living without allowing criticism to define us. Let us reflect. How many times have we allowed one comment to ruin our mood for an entire day? And how many times have we let go of someone's words and moved on with peace? Which one felt lighter, freer, happier? Clearly, freedom lies not in controlling others, but in controlling ourselves. When someone tries to hurt you, you have two choices: to let their arrow pierce your heart, or to let it fall harmlessly to the ground. If you choose the first, you bleed endlessly. If you choose the second, you remain whole and unshaken. The arrow was theirs to throw, but it is yours to accept or reject. Every moment, life offers us this choice. And when we consistently choose not to let hurt rule us, we discover a new strength, the strength of true inner freedom. Hurt, therefore, is not our destiny. It is not written that we must suffer from every word, every look, every action of others. Destiny may bring us challenges, but how we respond is our choice. We can let people's negativity define our emotions, or we can let God's wisdom guide our reactions. And when we choose the latter, life becomes lighter, relationships become easier, and our heart becomes a home of peace. Ego always shouts the loudest in moments of conflict. When someone criticizes you unfairly, when a colleague undermines your efforts, when a family member speaks harshly, the first voice that rises within is the voice of ego. It says, React now. Prove yourself. Show them you are not weak. But if we pause and listen deeper, there is another voice, quieter yet more powerful, the voice of wisdom. That voice comes from the soul, from the presence of God within us. It whispers, stay calm, do not lose your balance, protect your peace. The real strength of life lies in choosing to follow wisdom over ego. Even when the ego burns to respond, ego and wisdom are like fire and water. Fire can spread quickly, destroying everything around it, while water can cool, nourish, and sustain life. When we react from ego, our words often burn bridges, hurt relationships, and leave scars we later regret. But when we respond with wisdom, our words carry healing, they open hearts, and they strengthen bonds. Both fire and water are within us. The choice of which one we use depends on our awareness in the moment. Take a daily life example. Imagine you are at work and someone dismisses your idea in a meeting. Your ego instantly wants to lash out, to defend your worth, to make them see your value. But if you respond from ego, you may appear aggressive and the environment may turn tense. Instead, if you pause, think, and respond with wisdom, you might say, I see your perspective, but here's another way to look at it. Suddenly, the conversation shifts from conflict to collaboration. Instead of proving yourself, you have shown strength through calmness and respect through thoughtfulness. That is the power of wisdom. Where ego would create distance, wisdom builds connection. Consider family relationships. A child talks back to a parent, or a partner speaks with frustration. Ego immediately interprets it as disrespect and commands, answer back, show authority. But wisdom sees differently. It asks, why are they speaking this way? Are they tired? Are they hurting? Is this their pain speaking, not their true self? When you respond with wisdom, you do not add fuel to their fire, you pour water over it. You might choose gentle words or even silence to let the heat settle. Later, when emotions are calm, your conversation becomes meaningful instead of destructive. Ego reacts to the surface, wisdom responds to the depth. One of the most common examples is in arguments. Ego always wants the last word. It thrives on winning, on proving itself superior. But even if you win the argument, do you truly win if you lose peace in the relationship? Wisdom understands this. It teaches us that winning an argument is not greater than winning a heart. Sometimes the greatest victory is to step back, to keep quiet, or to smile in the face of provocation. Not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough to protect peace above pride. Think about great leaders and spiritual teachers. Their strength was not in reacting to insults, but in rising above them. They were mocked, criticized, and misunderstood, yet they did not allow ego to guide their response. Instead, they allowed wisdom to speak through them. That is why their words continue to inspire generations, because they were spoken from a place of higher understanding, not lower impulses. When we act from ego, we may win temporary satisfaction, but when we act from wisdom, we create lasting impact. Another simple example comes from everyday conversations. Suppose someone makes a sarcastic comment about you in front of others. Ego pushes you to strike back instantly to defend your honor. But wisdom tells you, your worth does not decrease because of their words. Silence can sometimes be louder than any reply. If you remain calm, you not only keep your dignity, but you also show others your inner strength. People begin to respect the one who stays composed, not the one who loses control. True respect is not demanded through ego, it is earned through wisdom. Responding with wisdom also means understanding that not every battle is worth fighting. Ego fights every small thing. It cannot tolerate even the slightest challenge. Wisdom, however, saves its energy for what truly matters. Just like a warrior does not waste arrows on shadows, a wise person does not waste words on petty provocations. They conserve their strength for battles of value, where their response can bring real change. This discernment comes only when we allow God's guidance to flow into our heart instead of letting ego control us. Let us reflect honestly. How many times has ego led us into regret? How many times have we said things in anger that we later wished we had not? And how many times has wisdom saved us when we chose to stay calm and later felt grateful for not reacting? The difference is clear. Ego may give us temporary satisfaction, but it always costs us peace. Wisdom may require patience in the moment, but it always rewards us with freedom and harmony. Life will always test us. People will continue to challenge, criticize, and provoke. But every test is an opportunity not to prove our ego, but to practice our wisdom. When we respond thoughtfully, guided by God's presence, we become unshakable. Our peace becomes untouchable. Our words become healing. And slowly, our life becomes an example to others, showing that real strength is not in reacting, but in responding with the calmness of wisdom. In the end, the true victory is not when ego wins an argument, but when wisdom wins over ego within us. That is the moment we rise above hurt, above pride, and above temporary impulses, and we step into the higher plane where peace, dignity, and inner strength reside. This is the gift of responding with the wisdom of God instead of the impulse of ego, a gift that makes our life lighter, our relationships deeper, and our soul freer.